Hey, hi, my name is Joe. It's week 20 or week 21? It's week 21, and this week, no, wrong button, sorry. And this week we're talking about resources. So, online, let me read what the thing says. It says, useful online or not online resources, websites, forums, etc. that you found helpful. So, personally, most of the resources that I'm going to list are online because that's where I got most of my info, but I'm also going to try to, sort of, I have tried, I have listed everything things that aren't necessarily online. So, also, I think I might be wearing exactly what I was wearing in, like, my first video today. But, anyway, I'm not 100% sure, I think I am. Anyway, so yeah, the first thing that I came across online, I think, that was anything to do with trans men, was I used to, back in the days when I thought I was a lady gay, I used to subscribe to, I still subscribe to, but I used to watch the Beaver Bunch. I don't know if anybody has heard of the Beaver Bunch, but it's a, like, LGBT YouTube collab channel, and they basically do, as like most collabs, they do, like, weekly topics, and do weekly topics, and their Friday is a trans guy. They're mostly gay women. It's supposed to be like, oh, LGBT, like, but it's pretty much just like gay women, and then Kate, who's a trans guy. But, like, it's a really great channel. I really like it. I can't believe that they're still going, just because I don't understand how you keep coming up with new topics all the time. I don't, like, we have a couple months worth of topics left, and then I'm just a bit like, what even? What is there more to say? I don't even know. So, by the way, like, suggest topics, please. As an aside. But yeah, so they're still going and they're really good, but that was the first place that I saw any kind of, like, trans, male, anything, was Cade on the Baby Bunch, and he's, like, a really cool guy. He's, like, got his shit together. He seems like a really, like, decent, intelligent, nice dude. I was terrified that he existed, and I basically didn't watch any of his videos because I was like, yeah, you make me uncomfortable. Repressed Joe. But yeah, but anyway, so that was my first sort of, like, encounter with any sort of what could be called a resource for trans guys online. And I ran away with a friend. But what then happened was, later when I realised I probably was a guy and started looking into transy stuff, I just sort of, like, went online and was terrified by lots of, like, surgery photos and stuff. And I think the first thing I'm going to say is that when you're looking online, I don't know, when you're first questioning, maybe just surgery isn't always the first thing that you need to be looking at, because surgery isn't something that everybody wants or needs. Even hormones aren't something that everybody wants or needs. So, I don't know. My sort of main thing is, yes, look for resources on that kind of stuff when they become something that you feel like you might need. To begin with, maybe focus on, like, just to use stuff like emotional stuff, like, for your insides. This is really vague. I'm gonna get back to my list. Okay, so vlogs are gonna be the first thing that I suggest you look for. Even though they're not greatly, like, policed in terms of, some people are just gonna be sort of idiots, and you're gonna be like, I don't want to be like you, maybe I don't want to be a boy. But some people are going to be really, really cool. I'm going to talk more about that next week, because next week we're talking about people who we found, like, inspiring or helpful, either in the community or not in the community, and for me, quite a few of those people will be, like, vloggers on YouTube, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but just, it's probably won't hurt, for the most part, a kind of initial exploratory thing, just typing in, like, FTM something into YouTube and watching stuff. And if anything, that will help in terms of just seeing the broad variety of the kinds of people, kinds of trans guys there are out there, because one of the things that was troublesome to me to begin with is I was worried that, like, you had to be a really particular kind of person, like, you had to be, like, mega butch, and, like, I'm so butch I can't handle being a lady anymore, and obviously that's not me at all. I'm not butch at all. I'm, like, mega girly. So seeing kind of how broad the spectrum of, like, the kinds of people are that are trans guys, I think can be helpful anyway. So yeah, just, like, whack FTM into YouTube and do some surfing. Bear in mind that, like, everybody is different, and, just because some of these guys are going to be idiots and some of these guys are going to be suggesting silly things. Don't listen to everything they say, just take it as like, here is like a cross-section of young, I'd say for the most part, trans guys and what they tend to look like. I think that's nice to just see. Anyway. So yeah, so people just like personal vlog channels. Also collab channels in general. The collab channels that I find helpful are, that I like, FTM Transtastic I think is really good. It's kind of like, it's lighthearted and it's nice, and it, I think what it does well is not focusing on, not focusing on, allowing for the fact that being trans isn't everything in the hosts' lives, like they do other things as well, and that's cool, and you get to know them properly, and it's not just like, this is all we think and talk about, it's trans stuff. Like, they're a bit more laid back and they talk about other stuff, and I think that's cool. That was really fast. What else? FTM Kickstart I think is also really good. They're really sort of informative, and like, I'm not sure if they're posting anymore. I haven't seen any uploads from them in a while, but even still, like, the backlog is just going to be really helpful. So they're good. If you're into, like, fitness and stuff, there is a channel that I subscribe to. I have no idea why. I never watch any of the videos except to look at the guys' bodies and be like, I never look like that because I'm lazy. But Beefheads is a FTM collab. I think it's just called Beefheads, or Beefheads Fitness maybe, is an FTM fitness collab. So they sort of like post about nutrition and like gym stuff. I don't even understand most of it. Like I said, I don't even know why I subscribe, except to weep at the impossibility of ever having a body like that. But they, if that's your thing, then I think they're kind of really helpful. They seem to be pretty good and upload quite regularly. So yeah, collabs, that's another helpful thing. Hudson's Guide, I think, is generally pretty helpful. They post, they have, there's lots of like info on there. This is, I'm moving on from collabs now, this is just general websites. Hudson's Guide, I think, has decent information, decent kind of good stuff about, medical transition and what's involved in that, and like links to other, sorry my ring is like jingling everywhere. So yeah, Hudson's Guide, yeah, check them out. Local groups, so like, as opposed to, in terms of not online things, you can look for local trans groups if you're lucky. Like if you're in London, there's FTM London, and a friend of mine has gone, what am I saying, friend of mine? Alex and I, y'all know who Alex is. Alex and I went along to one of the meetings once. It was cool. We haven't gone back because we're like lazy and bad people, but it was, I think, if you were, especially if you were early on and like still figuring stuff out, going to something like that and seeing just the broad range of like trans men that exist and that are like happy and getting on with their lives and well functioning humans, that's just a nice very basic but a nice thing to see. So there's that. But oh my god, how is this 8 minutes long already? What? I don't understand. I start talking and then, anyway. So yeah, local groups. If you're not lucky enough to have local trans groups, maybe local LGBT groups in general, I think that's something that's still helpful. Counselling. If you can get counselling, like free with school or like with uni or whatever, I've been to my uni counselling service and that was really fantastic. If you're lucky enough that you can get that, that can be a very, very useful resource, even if they're not like a specialist trans counsellor person. That would be at a GSE, but that just can be really helpful just to like talk about stuff and hear yourself talking about stuff. That can be a really supportive kind of thing to have. Decent friends and family members, if you can get yourself a few decent friends and just kind of, you know, that can help so much, even if they're not trans, even if they don't necessarily understand firsthand what you're going through. Having people who care and who are interested, like, if you have those people, hold on tight to them, because they can be so, so helpful and supportive. Lots of those, I'm very lucky. Thank you, all of you people. What else? Facebook groups. There are a few Facebook groups that I didn't know existed until, like, a couple months ago. But I think you usually need invites. The ones I'm talking about, the UK-specific ones, seeing as we're a UK-specific channel, there's TM UK and there's TMSA UK, and I think if you search for them, I'm not sure if you can search for them. I think you need to be friends with someone who's in the group and then they invite you, which is, I understand why they have that policy, but it's a little bit tricky. If you would like to be in one of those groups, maybe say on the FTMKingdom page, and we can try and sort out adding you as friends and then adding you to the group and then deleting you or whatever. Okay, what else? Yeah, I think that's about that. I'm gonna just mention Tumblr here, because Tumblr, in reality, I've gotten a lot of really useful information from Tumblr, predominantly about when I was considering going to gender care, and, like making the decision of whether to go to gender care or not. I found lots of really lovely people, like Jamie, for example, on Tumblr, who had been and kind of like was able to read about their experiences and how much it cost and stuff to figure out whether it was a viable option for me, and that was really, really helpful. So I think Tumblr can be a very useful resource. However, Tumblr is also full of, like, morons. So, just, again, as with YouTube, anyone can post whatever they like there. So it's very open to just, like, not cool people being idiots. So use them as a resource. Don't take everything you read as, like, gold dust and accurate, because a lot of it's going to be just people who either just aren't like you, or people who are just, like, not very clued up and, like, you know. So yeah, that's all the online and offline resources that I've found helpful. I hope you find them helpful. I'll maybe put some links in the description. I hope you find us useful. We're one of those resourcey things. That's what we're trying to be. Please suggest topics so that we don't run out and then disappear into the ether. That'd be cool. Alright, have a lovely week. See you soon. Bye.